My name is Obinako. Welcome. Today I want to share with you budgeting. Making sure that you session your money rightly towards the vision that you have, or towards the financial vision that you have. It's important that you're able, especially those who don't have a lot of money coming in. If you're not making, let's say, $1 million a year, if you don't have a lot of money coming in, and you have, life, you spend money on your rent, on your house, electricity, on food, on clothes. You give money in churches. Some people pay tithe, but anything that you're not able to structure well, it's very difficult for you to have it under control. I remember when I was in school, doing postgraduate school, I was working somewhere in a restaurant and some other places, and I had to write every money that I was spending, the one for the bus, for the one for food, for rent, everything, everyone, I was writing them. Why? Because the thing was not enough, so you had to track every bit of it and that's why you could have allowance, the school fees, everything. So it's a skill that you have to develop. Some people have never developed it because they didn't need to develop it. They had a lot of money. Maybe, let's say, do you have an idea how much the household that you have, how much you spend every year or every month? Do you know? Maybe you make 5,000, maybe you make 1,000, maybe you make 500. Do you know how much you spend? Do you have an idea? You can, maybe it does not even have to be exact, but do you have an idea how much you spend on your rent? Do you have an idea how much you spend on the children's school fees? Do you have an idea how much you spend per child? At the other time I was looking at it. The average family in Ghana spend at least between let's say 700 to 1,000 Ghana per head. That's my average. It means that you are living average life. Minimum. Not so much. You are not so much extravagant, but at least you can manage the situation. Every person in the household, in the house, on the average, at least 1,000 a month, I think. Which means that if you are 3, you're looking at 3,000. If you're 5, you're looking at 5,000. That means you are trying. So if you're not making that, let's say one head, and you're not making that, it means that the finances will be difficult. Even if you want to, maybe maybe you don't even agree with me, say that maybe 500. Let's say 500, even the minimum, which I doubt, because your rent, if you're renting, let's say a single room, maybe 100 or 200 a month. So that takes almost everything. The trotro, and taxi, or those things that you take, that can, in the whole year or in a whole month, can also take significant amount. So conservatively, let's make 1,000, which means that in a year, you as an individual, at least 12,000 is what you spend. That's the cost of you living. It does not mean you are going to buy a car out of it, or you are going to buy clothes. You're going to buy, let's say, you're building a house or land out of it. No, this is what is required for you to be alive. On the average, most people, this is what it takes. On the average, most people. Maybe you go to outside Accra, it could be less. Maybe you go to your village, it could be less. But less on the average, comfortably. This is around that. So you must be able to track the money that comes to you. Maybe you can do it around 200. Maybe you can do it around 500. Maybe you can do it around 300. That is magic. Some people are also doing it around 10,000, 20,000, 30,000. But it's important that you know where the money, at least the top 5, the top 5 expenses that you have. You must know that every month this is what I'm spending, so that you don't go overboard, or you don't start to accuse somebody for stealing your money. A lot of the times nobody stole that money, you just spent it. So the rent, and every now and then there will be some kind of malaria. Every now and then there will be some kind of sickness. Every now and then there will be sickness. Every now and then there will be some kind of emergency expenditure. You buy food. The children will go to school. Every now and then there will be some trouble. And anytime that you want to do any major project, like wedding, or you want to go to school, or you want to buy a car, you want to buy a land, build a house, those things should be outside the basic that is required for you to live, for you to be in existence. So you plan for that. You You plan for the car, you plan for the house, you plan for the wedding, you plan to go to school, you plan for a major, if you want to shift, you plan for the children's school, you plan for major expenditures. The things that will take a lot of money from you, you must plan. But there is minimum that is required. Because out of that, then you think of how do I make more than what I make in terms of salary. It's only when that you have covered what it will take for you to live, just mere existence of life. After that, then you think of how do I, start to go into the surplus. You start to build some kind of wealth. Because wealth really is you having more than you use. Somebody, if I use 1,000 and I have 10,000, it's not bad at all. It means that I have some level of wealth. If I use 10,000 and I have 10,000, virtually 1 month away from, if I spend 10,000 every month and I have only 10,000 saved, I'm not very far from being broke. But if I spend 1,000 a month, and then I have 10,000, 20,000 invested, saved somewhere, if I keep, tabs on my lifestyle, then to a certain limit, I am worthy. That's really worthy. Because nobody, some people are spending millions every year, but they have billions. That's fine. But if you are spending millions and you just have $1 million left somewhere, you and the other person, you're not far. You can express your money, you can live, extravagantly. But it so matters how much it's costing you to live and how much you're able to save and invest. Because really, that is the formula. That is the formula. So that's why some people, even though they are paid huge salaries, they live, but still they are in panic, they are in fear because they spend so much, their lifestyle is so high. It's good if they know how to make a lot of money, but if you don't know how to make so much money, then you have to know what is the allowance I have. And what you want to do is you create so much allowance that can go into tens of years, So 10 years, you still have some. Some people have a lot of money coming in that if they don't work for the next 20, 30 years, they still will not bother. Their lifestyle will not change. For me, that is well. So budgeting, plan. Know how much you spend every month on these key things. Because there is cost of living. You pay something just because you're alive. When you get up in the morning, you use water, you use paste, you use all kind of things at home. Even if you're alone, and maybe even if you're paired with your friend, you still have to have energy, which means you have to have something to eat. You need to budget. You need to understand. The wealthy may not, but it's a skill set that you need to build out yourself from the ground level to the next stage of your life. You plan to say that. So on average, you should know how much is coming to this house. Maybe you and your wife, how much is coming? How much have you spent on all this? So that before you change the children's school, something should guide you. Before you change the children's school, something should guide you. Before you want to move from this house to this 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom to the next big house, something should guide you. Because if you miss it, then you create another pressure for yourself. If you miss it, then you create problems for yourself. If you miss it, then things a lot. Because if the finances are missed, other complications will come up. Then you start to become very angry over nothing. Then there is no peace at home because you know that what is left is so little. If any of the children is sick now, you have to go and call somebody and beg somebody. You don't have to structure your life, or you don't have to live your life always calling somebody to come and support you. You should get to a stage in your life that you don't need to call anybody to come and give you a hand or to give you a handout to say that, oh, I need 20 CDs for me to eat the next day. It gets to a point that you don't need to do that. If no matter what kind of work that you do, you can always plan. Some people carry just concrete on the construction site. They are paid some kind of money, 70 cedis a day, 80 cedis a day. If they have good budgeting skill, they will not have to call their friend for them to give them 100 Ghana in order for them to take their sick child to school. No. So the moment you're doing something, plan it well. And if any time that you want to take significant money that is more than your salary to go and do anything, you have to plan it in advance. Because these are the little things that will help you to live life more comfortably. Because the pressure that comes out of life a lot. For most people, when they say life is difficult, mainly, a lot of the times, it's just the lack of money. Most people, when they say life is tough, it means that they don't know where the next meal is coming from. They don't know where the school fees is coming from. They don't know where the rent is coming from. They don't know when there is any major problem, if they'll be able to take care of those things financially. So life mainly has a lot to do with finances, and one of the things that you can use to get your clarity, or get a lot of things under control, is when you're able to put your when you're able to organize your finances well. And nothing organizes your finances well than you have been able to budget according to your level. You don't need any sophisticated system. Just pick a pen and paper and write them. You and your wife, men, don't hide the things from the woman. Let's sit down and see how much is coming in, how much can we manage, what is, so that, and then you start, because it gives you some kind of control when you know that this is what we are within. So if anybody calls you for money, you will know where to place it, because people are going to call you for money every day anyway. And the school fees they will take anyway. The food you have to, and the health and the rent and everything. So my name is Obeng Darko. Today we are talking about budgeting is key. That you plan it. As a matter of fact, it's a skill set that if you don't have it, and you have not developed it, it will be very difficult for you to do business and do it well, or to even manage any project and manage it well. If the money is not coming, as no matter how, some people, you see a lot of these property development companies, real estate companies, a lot of them, you see, they start go, and the next time you see the project is stalled. Why? Because they did not structure things well. They thought the money was going to come. Always structure is said that you assume that if for 3 months, if for 1 year, nothing comes, what will be our strategy? What will be our plan? Always assume for the worst case scenario, that if nothing is coming, if I lose my job, what will happen to the family? If I lose the income, if the person who has given me this contract does not pay for the next 3 months, how am I going to handle this project? Assume from that position so that you can position well to win. Most contractors have their businesses stretched. Contractors have their businesses collapse because they were so much hopeful that the person who gave them the contract was going to keep their word. And a lot of the times they did not assume that they will not. You are hoping for the bank to give you money on time. How about if the bank fails? Would you be able to survive? Would you be able to complete the project? Or you have to stop the project? Plan well. Budgeting is okay. They say you cut your coat according to the clothes that you have. I think you should. Until you have so much that you don't know where until you have so much, you have to plan, you have to budget, you have to keep track, you have to know where the money is coming from, where the money is going. Always sit down and plan in your business. Sit down. Don't just say that, it doesn't matter, the money is coming, the money is coming. The money is coming. If anything happens, the money does not come, would you be able to service that loan? Especially if you're going to take a loan, check the interest rate. Can your business survive on that interest rate? Can your business check? Don't just say, they told me to come for the money, it doesn't matter, I'm very hopeful, I've prayed. No, budget. Make sure that you follow through. Budget well. Always plan, and make sure that you can be disappointed, and so the disappointment should not throw you off. People are always going to disappoint you when it comes to money, when it comes to payment. They will say that come next week, the money will be ready. No. Always when they give you time, times it by 2. By the end of the month, I'll give you the money. Times it the next 2 months in your head. If they do it, most people will not keep their word when it comes to repayment. Most people will not keep their word. So which means that should guide you. Most people will never keep their word. Very few will tell you that the money is ready, come for it. They always have something to do with the money. When money goes to other people, my experience is that most people will never keep their word. Never keep their word. So you plan with that. You plan. The moment the money goes out of your pocket, it's not coming back. When they take the money, some of the hard lessons that I'm still learning. Most people, you can never trust them in terms of money, and that's why they also struggle with money all their lives, because they're not trustworthy with money. So nobody wants to deal with them again. They think that they are smart. So plan, budget well, because if you don't have it under control, so that's why governments will come out with all kind of projects that they don't have money. When you're going to take their project, be careful. They'll give you the contract, but make sure that the money will be paid as you have agreed with them. So that when you're going to take something, you know that this one you can be counted on. Because if you're not certain of the payment, every other thing is like you said, I've studied the project management, no problem. If there's no cash, there's no project that you're managing. If there's no cash, you will sack everybody. And those boys, when they stand in the sun and they work, and you have to pay them, they are not going to take any other answer. They will take the money. So budget and budget well. Plan and plan well. The family is key. Budget and budget. There's always peace at home when things are managed in terms of the finances. If the finances are out of touch, out of, they are out of line, other pressures will show. other problems will easily bring their head, So don't just be emotional about it. Plan and plan well. It does not mean that you don't have faith. No, this is not faith. This is budgeting. Budget well, so that everything that you're doing, any project that you undertake, that can I do this? Am I going to do? Don't just say that. No, plan. No, have timelines. Know the percentages that are going everywhere, so that you have peace.